double the dough. Hey, Roger Yum and do it dough. Yeah, double the. Hey, hey, double the dough.
Okay, so when I was listening to your story when we talked, and you told me that it took you years to build up what you have right now. Like sometimes you have to go at the Kuma farms doing bricks, doing mombe and stuff. And now we are dealing with a different generation, and you're telling me that I have to work on for the next 10 years to make my bucks and to enjoy the money. But I remember making a joke like when I'm downloading a video or a photo, if it takes me 15 seconds, I'll just put the phone away because I'm not that patient. How do you now translate your generation to our generation in terms of what they have to do to make it?
Yeah, thank you very much for raising that, which I believe it's a very strong point that needs attention. The current generation, we call it what do you call? We call it digital generation,
Yeah, the
which has
digital.
grown when most of things are instant and there's no patience. People want instant reach. People they want instant relationships. People,
Uh,
talking of relationships, the time we dated, as when you're at Samba, you post it 2 weeks with inosvika. Your reply
wow.
was back. You on the kiss before you open. You
Oh,
so
that's
which means so which means it was a
uh,
a conversation that would take not conversation. It was a communication that was going to take a month to post and receive. So
wow.
coming back to the current generations, there's a problem. There's a serious gap. Of course, there's no one way solution to problems of life, and I would
Mhm.
not necessarily say uh, everyone who is struggling should go through the same process I went, which took a long time. We're talking about 20 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, if if you are lucky,
Hmm.
it can take you a shorter time to be rich. We've got young generations, young people than me. We have got more money or we've achieved more things than I did. So I would not want necessarily to use my life as a measure. Uh,
Okay.
but I want to use my life as a source of hope to those who are finding themselves in a serious or in a situation here rebate. Then to come
Mm-hmm.
to your question, you said what do I suggest can be done? I think
Yeah,
more and more we need to teach this generation with honest, because pamwe pacho isusu vakuru vacho tisi kutovabhaiza, because isu are the elders who really
uh,
know the struggle, how we reached where we are.
yes,
Unfortunately, when we go on social media or when we are given a platform like this to speak, we start presenting a, a story that is not true. A story as if, no, I was smart, it just worked like that, and here I am.
yeah,
We are not telling the process like I did in the book to say things were hard. When I get my
okay,
first money, how did I use it? When I started my company, how was the situation? Where did I start? How did I grow it to be where it is now?
exactly.
So if we don't give people that process, they would just think it's instant, and the generation will be very misled, and we will produce a wrong informed nation. So I think this is a liability for almost everyone who has made it to say, guys, this is how it is done. It's not as instant as you think.
Okay, so it's the responsibility now shifting to the guys who made it to like they have to teach the actual processes and not just ngoti. I started a restaurant with one packet of rice.
You see, yes, I say it's our responsibility because we've got a number of people who look up to us. And believe you me, the things that we say matters.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
if we are not careful, we will say things that will destroy our generation, the coming generation.
Coming generation. Okay, and speaking of which, you talk about teaching and sharing information. I've been following on your page Dr. Balambas Marambire on Facebook, and you have been sharing the food for thoughts. And I captured some things that I would like to ask. But firstly, I want to ask about English. I have seen a lot of grammatical errors and stuff, and I see people be like, now instead of listening to the message, they start correcting the English. And I have been in places, or I've lived in places where speaking, if you tell them that you don't speak English, they get offended, but because they'll be like, why do I have to speak English? What is it? Yeah, because like here in Europe, if you tell them that you don't speak English, they get offended, but they'll be like, why should I? And I have
Okay.
seen, like, on your post, is it deliberate, or what is your take on this on this
You
whole
know,
thing?
Alec, I'll tell you something that will shock you.
Yeah.
I will not say I was dull at school, but I didn't get an opportunity to further my studies in terms of learning. I only did Form
Okay.
4. And then from Form 4, I went to hustle. So it came a time when I said, I've got a certain recipe or knowledge on
Mm-hmm.
business and life in general.
Mm-hmm.
I took it upon myself to say, I'm going to voluntarily teach people. Those who want to listen will listen. Those who want to read will read. And those who are going to learn something, they will learn something because my teaching is more practical than theory. I always
Mm-hmm.
use examples of what I've done. If you can check most of my content,
Yeah.
they are more centered on what I did, where I get it wrong and where I get it right. So when I post that information, I don't have time to compose it, um, do grammar mistakes and proofread. Sometimes I just wake up before I get busy. I pick my phone and I start writing the content of the day, and I go. I disappear from social media. You see me maybe once in a while or later in the evening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was that debate. Some people say, "Yo, no, at your level now, you need to start writing
That's
things which
right.
doesn't have a mistake and all that." So people they really don't understand me. I'm different from what people think, from or the normal way of doing business. I do things my way, and
Okay.
I believe that if I give a content with errors and mistakes,
Mm.
it gives that concept to the reader that I'm speaking direct to the person.
Okay.
The moment once I'm becoming so perfect and good in English and the way I write, it's more like you're communicating to a robot, or it's like
Yeah.
I've already joined the motivational speakers. I'm not a motivational speaker.
You cease to be authentic when you do that.
Yeah, I feel that authenticity that, this is my stuff, this is what I write. And as time goes on, I notice that people love that. And I
Yeah.
think if I were to change and write different, a lot of people might lose interest in reading. Those messages are very long, and I
Yeah.
believe most of people they read to the last word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that's my approach. And the main reason for teaching for me, it was not about to become popularity.
Uh-huh.
That is, and some of the information that I share are business secrets,
Yeah.
which most people doesn't share. And I teach precisely how it is done in a practical manner, how things can be done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a blessing that we have. Even I think the word of God will encourage us to share the knowledge
Yeah, the
rather than to
knowledge.
be so. One day I will not be in this world. I will not live forever. So you
Uh-huh.
ask yourself, what kind of a legacy would you want to leave?
To lead.
Would you want to be remembered as a Mpinga who was driving most expensive cars and maybe run around with girls partying, or we want to be remembered as someone with install seeds of hope and knowledge in people, and people start grow businesses that they can give reference that one day this man taught me to do this. I think that's my approach.
Okay, well, that's well explained. Now I get it. 'Cause we're having those questions. So now I'm going to ask some questions based on what you have written and what you have taught. And there's another post that I came across, which was which kind of like provoked a lot of people when you mentioned about the principles to success, and you put beer in it. And the beer mafia was like, no, kune vanhu vari successful vanowadoro. What exactly were you trying to say in terms of beer and success, the relationship between those two?
Alec,
Like,
let me say the word success is broad, and it depends on how you take it. If we say buying a car is success, if we say build a house is a success, maybe you can say so. But talk of people uh, who are running big entities or big companies. And then if we say big companies, we are referring to companies like take Nyarazo,
Econet.
for instance, take Econet, take
Uh,
no, there are a number of particularly Zimbabwean companies that we can give as an example.
yeah, definitely.
I've never seen those the owners of those big companies clubbing and partying in the nightclubs. If
Okay.
if they were to drink beer or take alcohol, maybe it's done somewhere
Private.
in their privately and in a dignified manner. Not yet. See, tell me what were you going to interview me here? If there was a video of myself circulating, holding beer, drunk, and having girls whining around me, honestly,
No,
and I want to
definitely.
come and the following morning I want to come and teach you something about money, while I'm spending as if I'm the owner of the bank.
No, people wouldn't listen to you because no chitongo there's a chirombe rombe, that kind of thing. No, and
Exactly.
rombe nemari, I don't know how
Exactly. And chinorwadza ndechekuti, someone who is so serious about drinking, about taking alcohol, anoshanda from Monday to Friday. Believe you me, those people vanobata mari. That's the
yeah.
truth. Those guys, they get money. And Monday to Friday, someone is working. Only to go on a Saturday with the friends and groove and spend 300, 200, even if it is $50. Tell me how much it could have gone if that man was invested in some way to retain some profits. I know life is not all about making profits, as they say, but come on, guys, we need to relax, we need to chill,
You need to
because
see.
in on this earth, the only thing that consume a lot of money is beer. For men, the only thing that consumes money is beer and women.
Yeah, that's true. What about which if I'm making 500, then I spend $50. I mean, that's like 25 quads, something like that, and I'm good. Uh, is this
Unfortunately,
still an issue?
no, unfortunately, when it comes to drinking beer, there's no budget. Those who drink, they will tell you the same. There's no budget. You went intending to, you can go to a bar intending to spend $20. But believe you me, when you come back, you've spent more than $100 because it goes with emotions. How do
Okay.
I know this? How do I know this? I've got
Mm,
friends who are so into beer, who drink beer a lot. And sometimes we go out together. I sit there, we are
mhm.
talking, we're chatting while they're doing what they're doing. And you'd seriously see that someone is spending a lot of money, and even spending more than what they were intending to.
Spend.
And then the big question is, then after drinking, then what? What
Okay.
exactly are you going to gain? Those who were fighting, you say, no, padore mbosiyana inapo mkuru, hey, not, you know, people, they don't ask themselves, why is it that after you drink, then there's no gain. And the other thing that I always say is those companies which produces beer, they can give you an advert of someone getting into a nightclub, drink smart, but then they don't show you what will happen after.
Afterwards.
So what kind of a product which doesn't show the afterwards of consuming
Okay. Okay. Well,
it?
that's quite interesting. Okay, I love that. Then I'm gonna go to the next part, which was talking about investments, and especially you are into construction. You know about land, you know about properties, about houses and stuff. And there are young people now who wants to buy a stand, but they don't have money to build. Building, I think it's very expensive. And for somebody to just say I have 30,000 to buy a house right now, it's gonna be difficult for them as well. But they prefer to buy maybe a stand for 5,000, then have it, maybe start building it after 5 years. then finish it. What is your advice to those people?
I always say when it's difficult to get money, but once you
Mhm.
get money, you need to use it wisely because it can take weeks to generate $100, but you can blow it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Let us come on the issue of land. Someone
Hmm.
is 5,000 cash and try to invest it in land, which is idling, not going to generate any income. To me, it's not wise to do that. Even though people say land appreciate it to gain value over what? How many years? While is the money is just stuck on the land? My advice is always to say, if you get a certain lump sum, invest that money where it generates and give back something. And people are afraid of starting business. Yes, I get it.
Yeah,
But do you
definitely.
know that, yeah, do you know that in Zimbabwe or in Africa generally, we don't know or appreciate the concept of buying shares? We have got a
Oh,
number
yeah.
of well established companies. For example, Acorn, there's a time when they were selling shares. I think you can go to Delta, in Coca Cola, in other big companies.
Hmm.
Don't even near as if it is a public limited company, but all public limited companies, you can go and buy shares there. Then you start receiving your money, and there are conditions that you can buy shares and you're not affected um, by losses that the company is making. I think there
Okay.
are options when you want to earn more money, you can take the risk of affected by losses, and then when you take a minimum share, you won't be affected by losses. You still get your share. So people need to start about this, so that if you have your money, instead of just buying a stand, you invest it where it can generate you a certain income annually. Then use the interest maybe to pay land, or
Okay.
otherwise combine the interest plus your investment and then to buy land and build, so that wherever you put your money, you should get something in return. This is my concept. Right now, Alec, if you say, no, I've got a business, the first question I'll ask if you want me to invest in a business is, when should I expect the return?
Return.
When should I expect to return the whole investment? And what is the profit that I'm going to make out of it?
Okay, so you're mostly like you have to value the time or on the rate of return than
Exactly.
to have something idle. But the question, actually, the fear of many people is like, we are, I don't know if it's the correct English, is it a volatile environment where there is a lot of uncertainty, especially for me personally. Like me, I once started a chicken project. I invested a lot of things in it. Then Zesa did me good, and it was around 2017. Then the bond got, and and the US dollar, they were still 1:1, but then it just woke up the other day and it was 1:7. I couldn't reorder. And now, if you tell me about investing again into a business, I have now that fear and that trauma of losing so much money because of those uncertainties that I don't have control over. How do you advise people who have that fear?
The first thing that can encourage you to give you courage is to give you that confidence to keep on investing. Do you know that everything in life is risk? Driving a car is risk. Eating is risk. There's always a risk in everything that we do. But then, should we say, let us run away from everything that seem to give an element of risk? No. I always tell people about doing a calculated risk. A calculated risk is something that you can do knowing that it's a risk, but we've investigated and researched and put measures that in the event of this, I'll do this. In the event of this, I'll do this. I've been running my business in Zimbabwe since 2011 up this day. Yes, we faced the numerous situation where there was inflation, where the government imposed laws, like in 2019, where they said, yeah, US dollar and bond note in the bank is now 1-to-1 rate. We
Uh-huh.
lost a lot of money. I remember I almost got sleep in the bed with shoes when I noticed our 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 RTGS account by then
Uh-huh.
increasing number says if it was an ID number. People throwing money on one-to-one rate. For your own
Oh,
information, I even go through some court cases trying to fight this as far as Supreme Court. If you can go
wow.
on the judiciary and check Bumble Investments, you see those cases. But I've never stopped doing the business. It's all about risk, but you need to calculate your risk. You need to put measures how you can survive in the event of the worst scenario.
Okay.
Mind you, Zimbabwe is labeled a country with so many risks or so many challenges. To me, I would say Zimbabwe is the most country with business opportunities because
Okay.
if there are problems, then there are business opportunities. If there are no problems, then there's no business. So you should always learn to convert or to bring a solution to a problem and convert it into a business.
Wow, that's well articulate. I think I'm a little bit motivated to go back. I hope I know butsu. I'll be able to wake up again and wear and go back
No,
again.
in business, we fail we wake up, man. And I want to believe even in the modern economy where we think things are stable, there's a lot of unforeseen and uncertain things that can happen. Think of COVID-19, think of outbreak of diseases, think of floods. There's always a challenge, and we cannot hide because we are afraid of such things.
That's
You
it.
need to know, I'm going to hunt. If I meet a lion, I will learn how to fight it.
Okay, well, that's well articulate. And okay, so I'm just gonna go to social media again. I'm a social media person. I recently saw you with Madam Boss and the husband, and you were linking up. And what are we expecting? What's going on? Because when we see you socialize, we are interested in these stories. We are
No,
gossipers sometimes.
no,
What's
Miss
happening?
Alec,
What are we?
I will not say much about that. The only thing that I want to tell you is not most of the socialites, the artists and comedians who do post or publish. But hey man, I've been working with so many, I would say 99% of comedians, socialites,
Mhm.
artists in Zimbabwe. I've worked with them. So I like
Okay.
Madam Boss spirit that she's an open person and she's a big brand, by the way. And
Yeah.
someone who always want to encourage and maybe share events with people. So for now, I will not share much about what is about to happen. And I'm sure if something happens, people will see.
Okay. Anyways, I wouldn't ask much as well. But on the same issue, I have another question. I'm sure you recently bought a car and you posted it. So the people was like, no, that's no longer humble. That's showing off. My question is like, what is your take on posting achievements on social media to celebrate? Because kune dzinonzi mbinga dzine noise kozita mbinga dzakanyarara. Is there what is your take on showing off your achievement on social media? Because people will be like, ah, makunyanya, makunyanya, that kind of thing.
No, Alec, I will answer that question with in three sections, right? The
Yeah.
first thing, let me say, in Africa, particularly in Zimbabwe, or say in Zimbabwe, people they
Mhm.
will persecute you for having money. I really don't know. I don't know why. You
Because we
cannot
don't have.
testify. You can, but look, it won't be the problem of the one who has money that you don't have money. And they would not. People don't want someone to testify that I'm rich, I've got
Yeah.
money, and I've got this and that. You see,
Nokakuvhayira.
but akusikuvhara chokwadi. Sometimes
Okay.
nengo chigotaurawo chokwadi. That's number one.
Mhm.
That's what I want to say. Number two, I want to say I've looked around and the script the script of people who have got money, their script is the same. It's only that maybe it's executed in a different way. Someone will come and say, "Kopo, no kopora." Someone will come and say, if you have money, you hide from people. I think these quotes I'm saying, you can relate who said that. But at the end of the day, someone is just trying to tell you that I've made it, I've got money. Mari zvekuti chokwadi inowawa. It's inowawa. It will force you to
Okay.
think.
Inonetsa kunyarara kana unayo.
Nai mari haiya mungatozondibira but ndatotaura kuti iripo because inenge iripo. You see, so there's nothing that so there's nothing that you will say you utter noise. There's a difference from bragging and posting your achievement. You know, if I come and tell you what I've done and what I've achieved, to me, it's a way of celebrating my success. And also it's a way of motivating anyone who is looking to say, no, I also want to do like this guy, also want to do like this guy. What I think would be wrong is for me to come on social media and say, Imi mamuna mari, garai pasi, sit down.
Oh my God.
Haungazotidaro iwe ukawaiwana waiwana but chirega kutsinyira ingoti taurawo with respect chero tisina mari. So and then kwozouya kumwe kusvotesa kuti ndobva ndabuda pasocial media ndichiverenga mari ndichidya tibon. You know, I was in South Africa this other day. I met my friends. We went to a restaurant. I think we ate food for about 11,000 rands. So yeah, so after that the other guy was busy saying, hey, you know, this man, I've never made such a money in a month. He was more like trying to show us that we've spent a lot of money on food, but we have never taken a picture to show it on social media.
Wow.
Because if we do that, it's kind of like provoking or try to make people believe that is there. So in my case, you know, those who know me, I don't speak. I speak and act.
Okay.
Alec, I'm buying you a car. It's not a social media stunt. They will see you receiving it and they will see you driving it.
Okay.
So I would like to differentiate a little bit. I want people to understand there's bragging, there's provoking, and there's I would say misconduct. And then there's genuine celebrating, and that I've achieved this. It might be small for you, but for someone it's big. Do you know there's someone who celebrates after taking a driver's license?
Yeah,
Do you know there's someone who celebrates after building a home in a rural village?
Definitely.
For them, it's a success, and we should celebrate with others. And that's the way, guys.
Okay. Because take out to the trukusotesco. Okay.
But can I reply like inenge iripo mari regai muratidze.
Now we are waiting to see more. Okay. And I recently saw you visited the Mbare Matapi area where there is a project that's going on. I've seen there are guys that are painting the area and they're trying to do sort of stuff. What was your experience and what do you have to say about the place and the project that's happening that side? Since you are into construction, you know these things.
Those guys are doing a great job. If I may tell you, I found out that those are the residents, the people who were born and grow up in Mbare. And they are doing marvelous thing. Only what they are lacking is funding. You know, that project is not funded by anyone else. They are struggling, run around looking for some funding. So when that guy who is behind the project, Velem, approached me, I like to assist where there's a genuine need. Where there's a genuine need, seriously, I would like to put my hand and assist. So when he approached me, I went there, I visited to appreciate the place. And Panibas, I didn't know there are people who live in such conditions. And it's not looking good, man. He took a tour with us. Tikanoona kuma bathrooms, tikanoona kuma kitchens, tikanoona some of the bedrooms, and Yeah, the flats are a little bit dilapidated. And I was asking him, how did it reach there? So he actually told me that the flats belongs to the council and people have stopped paying rentals or rates. So
Oh,
maybe there is no budget to renovate. And now I'm working with the guys slowly to paint. For now, it's just painting in and
waiting.
out. There are other people who also put their hands there. I'm not alone.
Okay.
And we are intending to go interior to work on the roof, the ceiling, the plumbing stuff, and all that. So I'm committed to work with those guys to make sure that patinenge taita ipapo tinenge taita something.
To assist. To
Yes,
assist. So,
yes.
what are the challenges did you saw there? There is a challenge of accommodation, and what are the things? Because it looks like we just know the name Matapi Matapi, but people don't really connect with what really happens there.
No, that's actually residence for other people. That's where they stay with families. And
Okay.
I was asking questions before because I'm very interested to know the background of anything that I do. The guy was telling me that they are about I mean, he said 56 flats, if I'm correct, blocks,
56. Right.
and a population of people staying in Matapi flats is plus or minus 56,000, according to him.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's a huge population. And
That's
now
a huge
the place
population.
has been uh, troubled by very ruthless people, if I may say, who go to such a community and sell drugs to people. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I saw young kids playing around where there is dirty water, sewer burst, and everything. So, it's just an environment which is not good.
This is not
And
good.
I'm sure with those guys, we shall work. There's a lot of programs that we are going to do together. I might not disclose them here, but we are communicating almost on daily basis with those guys. We also want to empower the people in the area in terms of education. And I want to use my story to
Mm-hmm.
motivate those guys to say, no, don't worry. I think their situation is better than where I grew up. So if I manage to turn around my life without assistance of government, without assistance of donors, without assistance of anyone else except God and
Yeah.
focus and hardworking, they can also do the same. Maybe we can bring out 4 or 5 successful entrepreneurs from that community,
And they will
which I
change the
believe
whole
they will be, yeah, they will be able to go back where they come from and assist more. And maybe if the process continues, one day we have a good residence in that area.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. It's a long-term project, but I think it's very sustainable because I was looking even at soccer. There's a guy called Sadio Mane. He built a stadium for his whole where he came from. You have
You
guys
see?
like Ekon building a dam in Senegal, and so I think when people come from successful people come from that area, they definitely can change that area. I think
Exactly. I'm
uh,
also happy. I'm also happy that I went to my former school and put an infrastructure there. I think it's one of the best
really,
science laboratory in the district anyway. So
wow.
which yeah.
Where
So
is
we
that?
should
Is that in Masingo or what?
yeah, that is in Mashingo in Chibi. And there's a time
Oh,
when I
that's
took
good.
the guys like Vana Nigel, Vana Feli Nandi, Vana who is this? Vana Take More Mazuru say we went back there. I was donating school furniture and books.
Wow, that's nice. So see the benefits of having successful people coming from Kwachivi ndokwabhata kwabhati.
You know the area. You know the
Yeah,
area.
yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'm just going to my last two questions. I think they're mostly on the social media space as well. I noticed that you came out guns blazing when we were roasting levels.
Guys.
And you defended him like, oh, this guy is doing this guy is doing this. And we're like, yeah, but I mean, it's news.
No, you know
There's a
the one.
relationship.
No, one thing that I noticed about the Zimbabwe on social media,
Mm-hmm.
if If someone is roasted, they would say, let's all roast that person.
Yeah, yeah,
And unfortunately, even those who know you better, they don't come in your defense.
yeah. They
Those
will
who
roast.
really know that, no, Alec, he cannot do that. You know, the reason why I defended Levels
Uh-huh.
is my brother. I know what he's doing and I know his value. And also, at my position, if I were to disclose my inbox, you'll be very surprised. I've got big names which are coming to me begging the same way, similar to that message. No,
Okay.
sorry, I mean, similar to those messages. I have you on daily basis. People, they come begging for school fees, begging for food,
Yeah, yeah,
both
yeah.
men and women, children and adults. So it's not something new when now people want to come out and start saying, no, he was not supposed to do that. He was not supposed to do that. While least almost everyone is going to inbox of those whom they think they can assist them
I
and
see.
beg for help. So people, they wanted to portray as if DJ Levels is the poorest person or poorest artist, or he did something that no one else is doing. So I was trying to say, no, guys, this is unfair. He actually inboxed me, DJ Levels, a day before it was all over on social media. They said, I want Mkuru right. And I was like, I know, don't worry, it happens. I don't know what is going on, but don't give it. Anyway, he's a very strong guy, that guy. He doesn't respond on social media, if you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
noted.
he has got his own character. But sometimes he also got feelings as a person. Kana
Yeah.
vanhu vachikudaro pasocial media toemuti unofile.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So you said he's your brother. What is your working relationship with Levels?
A lot is still in process, but it's about promoting our brand.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
him and about 5 other artists, very very prominent. You are going to see names that you have already, that I would say vanhu vanga vatoakanganwa mazita avo, but muchaona vachifeature.
You're bringing
We
them back.
want to yeah. We want to promote our brand and we are working with artists. We are choosing the artists that we see have got a good following and they've got a, a life with less drama. And we are combining both males and females, and you're going to see something big that is coming up.
Okay, now we are waiting and we'll be very, very glad to hear what you have in store. And as Bamlo, I haven't really talked about Bamlo, but I'm going to close now. But can you just tell me what is Bamlo all about and where you are? And are you all over Zimbabwe? If I'm in Grube down there, can you offer me services? Since but Matisatenge must stand food can
No, the good part now, if you buy a stand, you can engage Bamlo to build a house for you on a credit facility. Then that
Oh,
house
really?
will generate enough money which you can use to pay back Bamlo. Zero interest. But look, I don't want to advertise much about my company. I will steal your show for that. Um,
Ndandanobvunza
now,
kuti collateral yakamira sei tuye kumapercentage madikidika.
no, actually, the property that we develop becomes the collateral security of the credit facility.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
tikakuvakira imba yako iwewe imba ndio ichaita collateral security. In the event that you don't pay, we will not
Mondikita
rush
house.
to say we are selling the house. We can try to rent the house to see if we cannot recoup our money and then hand over the house to you. In the worst scenario, that's when we
Yeah.
can negotiate to sell the property. So Bamlo, it's actually based in the Midlands. I think it's the only company in the world which have got its headquarter in a village. Our headquarters are in Berengwa.
Oh,
For
really?
your
In
yeah,
Berengwa.
in
You have,
Berengwa.
wow.
Pardon? Another time we have got a certain minister who visited us.
Mm-hmm.
So in our discussion, he said, "Are you in Harare?" He said, "Yes, we are in Harare." He said, "Okay, so Harare is your headquarter." And I said, "No, no, minister. Here where you are is actually our headquarter, and we are administering all the projects in Zimbabwe from this point of view, from Berengwa. So we
Okay.
actually have got houses we built in Mutare with bricks that were brought from Berengwa, Kweru, Plum Tree,
Yeah.
Karoi. I think we have built houses in almost every province in Zimbabwe.
Okay. Oh, that's impressive. That's impressive. I've seen you have a very huge profile and a lot to say, and I can testify that I learned a lot from this conversation, from what you said. It was not just for people out there, but even for me, I learned stuff, and I'm so grateful for your time. People like you, they are not easy to get, because your time is money. So
No, no,
I really like to thank you for your time.
thank you very much for having me. I always appreciate an interview or an interaction like what you did, where it's very humble and focused on facts. And if I can recap from all the questions you were asking, they were very relevant. You didn't focus more about money, where we spend our money, what we do, this and that, or even worry more about my personal life. But I like the way you touched it, that it was so general, and let's hope people have learned something from this.
Okay, I'm definite they have and they will testify. Thank you so much, Doctor. I really
You are
appreciate.
welcome. You are welcome.
Double the dough. Hey, Virginia, I'm gonna do it.